Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Tolu Odubanjo, and this is Talk to Tolu Toro. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And today's topic is marriage in the diaspora. Could you please, let's know where you're joining from. Jumi from Preston, Dio from the US, and Eunice from Canada. Go to the chat room, please. Say where you're joining from. Let's know where you're joining from. Thank you so much. And please don't forget to share the link. As I've said, it's very important topic we are discussing tonight. Please let me know if you can hear me. Do a thumb up. Thank you. Thank you. Another thing I want to tell you is please, I'm begging you to show your beautiful faces. It's very important so our speaker tonight can connect. Thank you, Abisola, for that thumb up. Thank you. That means you can hear me. Thank you from Ukraine. Thank you. Ajibola, thank you for Preston. Please show your faces. We want our speaker to be able to connect. It is very nice when we can see facial expression. We know that the speaker will know that, oh, yeah, they can hear me, your facial expression means a lot. You can blur your background. You can have whatever background you want to have. But please, let's connect. It's a very important topic. And it's going to be an interactive session anyway. The speaker is going to be talking to us. We are going to be talking as well. We're going to be asking questions. And it's an informal meeting. There's no, no tension about this. Kindly, please show your faces. Thank you. If you can. If you can't, that's okay. Thank you, Femi Adeyanju, Eunice, Feyi, Stan, Fumi, Omojola, Ade. Thank you so much for joining everyone who is joining. So now today we are going to be talking about marriage in the diaspora. And before I introduce the speaker, as I've said, I would like to see some faces. Okay, without wasting time, the speaker tonight's guest is going to be talking to us about the marriage in the diaspora. He's going to just brief us for 10 minutes. And after that, we're going to be asking questions and there'll be answers and all that. Let me quickly tell you a little bit about our guest tonight. Our guest tonight is Pastor Lekan Wellington Adegunwa. And Wellington Adegunwa, as I've sent to you earlier on, before the flyer, before the link comes out today, I say he has a great passion for training in leadership and human development. He is versatile, experienced leader whose area of expertise include multicultural leadership, transformational leadership, family success principle, conflict resolution, mental health first aid. He is a director at the Reconciliation Ministries Church, TRM UK. Welcome with me, ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Lekan Adegunwa. Please go to the chat room, say welcome, sir. Thank you so much for joining tonight. I sincerely appreciate your time. I know you're supposed to be in a meeting tonight, but thank you for giving us this, opportunity to join us tonight. Thank you so much, sir. So, Pastor Lekan, I'm just trying to find Pastor so I can bring him, I can, show his face. Okay, I've seen Pastor Lekan. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Is nobody going to show their face? This is not good enough. Please show
It's because our videos are blocked.
Sorry?
The videos are blocked.
They can show their faces, can't they?
No, you cannot start your video because the host.
Why not?
The host has stopped it.
It's not. Yeah. It's not. How about now? I don't think so. It's not ticked. I checked my setting. Video is not.
It's fine now. It's fine now. It's just fine now.
Oh, okay. I'll check my setting. I didn't take that.
It's fine.
Okay, thank you, sir. No, I didn't know that happened. Anybody willing to show their face can show their face. Please. Thank you. Thank you, Tokumbo. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you so much. It's nice. Thank you, Dayo. Good evening, sir. Thank you very much, Pastor Lekan, for joining us. I appreciate this personally. Thank you for your time. Pastor, sir, we have a lot of questions and people want to ask questions. But before then, sir, kindly briefly tell us what marriage in the diaspora, just summarize it for us, sir. What does it mean to you? We know that when people leave another country to relocate to another country and they've been married, so marriage can be different. Kindly explain to us, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Praise God. I'm very excited to be on this platform with Tolu Toro, which I would just say Sister Tolu. Praise God. And it's a great opportunity to learn. And I want us to just open our heart as we learn together, and the Lord will bless us as we do. Now, just with the first, just like as introduction, one of the major things people I know, like, let me first tell you about myself. Apart from everything that she said, well, I've been married for over 20 years, and all the 20 years has been in England. So I got married in England. I'm still married. I have 2 children, 19 and 21. So, and they were born in England, and we thank God for their lives. So, that also means that the things I'll be sharing today will not just be theories, but it will be practical, because I'm a practitioner. I'm not just telling you book theories. Is that at least I can tell you that I have over 20 years of marriage in what you call the diaspora, which is for me, it's not diaspora, it's home now, and so on and so forth. So, yeah. So, any question you want to ask, I believe the Holy Spirit will help us to answer these questions and to speak well. Now, concerning the first question, let me just answer briefly, and that is marriage in the diaspora. Now, let's go straight to this. Marriage is marriage, whether diaspora or not diaspora. Marriage is marriage. We need to understand that. And because marriage is marriage, there are principles that work. There are principles that we need to engage. There are sacrifices that we need to make. Whether we are in Nigeria, Ghana, Ukraine, or in Canada, or in the United Kingdom, or in the US, or in Iraq, or India, or China, wherever you are, marriage is marriage. But there are principles. There are principles that we need to engage to make our marriage work. These principles are fundamental. And I know as we ask questions, I will mention them. Now, what is the difference? The difference majorly is the fact that when you move from country to country, there are different cultures and guidelines. And all of those things will impact on the way you execute the right principles. So, if I have a principle that is working for me in Nigeria, it doesn't mean that it won't work in UK if it's the right and appropriate principle. What will happen in the UK is that I'm in a different system, and so there will be factors. There will be other factors that will not be present in Nigeria, that will be present in the UK that I must engage with. Those are the things. So it's knowing that now I am no longer in that my own country, whether it's Ghana or India or whatever. I've moved to another country, i.e. US or Canada or Ukraine. I've moved there. So there are factors in that country. There are systems in that country. There are cultures in that country. There are laws in that country which I must understand and work with. So it's not about being the diaspora. It's the same thing. You can move to anywhere. There are cultures and laws and everything that operated from where you're coming from. There are laws that operate where you are. If you understand those principles, if you understand those laws, if you understand the guidelines and the factors, and you are ready to work the principle in line with where you are, you will deliver result. you will deliver results. Let me say this. The principles of life can be transferred from one country to the other. In other words, if you plant maize in UK, it's only maize you can reap. If you plant maize in Jamaica, you reap Jamaica. So where we are, the way it affects us is just that there are factors. But the question is this: the way I can plant maize in Nigeria, I can't plant maize like that in United Kingdom. If I want to plant maize in United Kingdom, I have to wait for the right time. I have to make sure it's only during summer. In summer in UK, people plant maize. Yes, in case you don't know, you can grow maize in this country. I have done it before, so I'm not just telling you. You can grow maize in United Kingdom. You just need to plant it at the right time, and then you reap it at the right time. Whereas in Nigeria, you can almost plant maize any time of the year. The sun is always shining. It's only water that will be your problem. If you have a good farm and good irrigation, you can do maize throughout the year. It's a different factor, but maize is still maize. But you see, in planting of maize, you must adjust to the system of that place. So when we talk about marriage in the diaspora, what people need to understand is this: there are factors in this country that are different from that country. There are systems in this country that are different. There are so many things you engage that will be different. You must know how to navigate all of those factors, navigate all of those principles, navigate the laws, navigate everything appropriately to deliver to you the right result that you want. To me, that's all it is. So it's about understanding the differences, understanding that the factors are there, understanding all of those things. Once you understand those things, I tell you the truth, you can be successful anywhere with anything you do, including your marriage. Diaspora and marriage are not worse. The factors are different. The problem is this: many people are too rigid to change. Many people might be too selfish to change. Many people are too rooted in what they believed in their other country that even when the circumstances are different, they don't want to change. So it's understanding that when we move from country to another country, there might be a few things that we need to change. There might be factors we need to reconsider. There might be things we need to work on. As long as we are working on those things and we're doing what is right, I tell you, brothers and sisters, believe this: marriage can work anywhere in the world. And as I'm telling you, I have married in the diaspora, remain married in the diaspora over 20 years. This is not tales by moonlight. It is not story. It is truth. And I know many people. I know people who have been married in this country for 30 years. People who have been married for 50 years. Yes, whether they are diaspora or their own people, they have been married for 50 years. There are marriages of 60 years in any country you go to. If you go to UK, there are marriages of 60 years strong. If you go to America, 60 years marriages are there. If you go to Canada, if you go to Nigeria, there are people who have been married for 60 years and it's working. So I want us to have that understanding that if it can work for one person, the question is, what are the principles or factors that makes it work for that person? So we must embrace that and know that marriage in the diaspora or not diaspora, don't be too bothered about that. Just ask yourself, what are the right steps, the right habits, the right principles to engage in any given environment? I think I will put that like that until we now go to more questions, and then we'll take it from there. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Not to waste time, I'll start with these first questions that says, how do couple navigate managing the expectations of their in-laws and extended family members who come for long stay / visits in the diaspora? Mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, and all that, in-laws in general. How can couple manage the expectation of their in-law? Maybe back home, things have changed here. For example, if they see their son, for example, here, sweeping the floor, doing all that, but back home, it's totally different. And the mother-in-law is like, what? Are you the one now cooking in the kitchen and stuff like that? Thank you, sir.
Now, like I always say, some of you that have heard me before, you probably will be able to predict the next thing I want to say. Everything you complain about an in-law, just know that you are complaining about yourself. You are going to become an in-law. It's only a process of time. So if you think in-laws are evil, you are also evil potentially, because you are going to become an in-law. So don't have the mindset that in-law are evil, because what you are saying is when you become in-law, so you will be evil. So let's forget about all of that. Now, this is the question. Generally, why we have problem with in-laws, I'll tell you. It's not because in-laws are generally bad, and that's not to say that there are no people who are bad, but it's because of differences in perception, in understanding, differences in cultures, differences in a lot of things, maybe even in belief system, differences in all manner of things. And once you have differences, there will be different interests, different opinions. And when you have differences, different opinions, different interests, there will be conflicts. And so basically what I mean is, it is possible and it is not strange that when in-laws come into a new family, there are tendencies that, there are things that might happen. Maybe the way they look at things, the way they feel about things will be different. And then that can create a lot of things. But let me tell you something. What we are saying is, how do I manage those expectations? Let's do it like this. For many couples, they have not settled themselves, and yet they want to settle in-laws. This is the principle. For anything you need to engage as a family or as couple that is external to your marriage, your success will be dependent on the strength of your own union. The success will be dependent on your own union. In other words, you see, the reason why people just think too much about all these in-law things is because even the husband and the wife, the couples, there's something wrong in that union. Because if that union is sound, the marriage is sound, the husband and the wife, if the union is sound, in many ways, that means they are beginning to gel in their understanding, they are gelling in their belief system, they are gelling in their value system, they are gelling in their interest and their ideas, and also they are in alignment, follow this, they are in alignment with their expectations from their in-laws. They are in alignment. In other words, you understand? In other words, the man, James and Janet are in alignment concerning the expectation and the involvement of Janet's parents in that marriage. James and Janet, they are in alignment concerning the expectations and the involvement of James' family in the marriage. Are you seeing what I'm saying? So this is not a partisan thing. This is that both of us that we are in the marriage, both of us have a united front and expectations and involvements. So if Janet and James already know that this is what we are expecting, this is the kind of involvement we want, this is how we want it to be in this marriage, when Janet's mom comes, it will not be a problem for James when the expectations and involvement are out of place, because now James and Janet have the same position, and together as one they can deal with whatever is happening. United front, united. If it's the other way, it doesn't make any difference. If it's now James' parent that now decides to come and then begins to do something that is funny, not in alignment, then Janet will not be too mad, because Janet and James can come together. This is the standard we want, and then the right person will deal with it. Now listen carefully to this. Because we are human beings, we are sentimental people, we are emotional people. Let me give you a simple warning, and many of us might know that. Once James and Janet have agreed in the involvement, the expectations, the way they want to run their family, and the expectations of what they want people to expect, to manage people's expectations, you have to create what you want them to do. You have to create your own house. You have to create your own position. You have to make sure that your own stage is set. Very, very important. Very, very important. So once that is set, what do? When there is something contrary, together with one mind, you face it. Now, let me give you an idea about facing it. Once there's an agreement, if Janet's mom or dad now begins to move outside of a line of what Janet and James have agreed, it is now the primary assignment of James to talk to his mom or his dad. Also, if it's Janet's parent, mom or dad, that are behaving funny, now that Janet and James have agreed, it is primarily the job of Janet to deal with a mom and a dad. Because if you don't do that, you will give your spouse a bad name. But if both of you have agreed on what to do, then you must stay faithful to the agreement of your marriage with your spouse. You know, you must stay committed to the arrangement between you and your spouse. You must stay committed. You can't allow your mom or his mom or whatever to come in and scatter that. Listen to this. There will be more problem if there is division in your own marriage. If your own marriage is united and is working, which I'm not saying your marriage is perfect, you don't have challenges you are facing. It's more than that. But you have at least a generic perception of what mommy can do, of what daddy can do. That is whether it's Janet's mom or James' mom or Janet's dad or James' dad. Once you have an agreement, a sort of agreement on what is expected, then that's fine. For instance, let me go to example my sister said. So you're now saying things like, you know what, normally you have decided to help your wife. However you want to do, maybe sweep the floor, wash the clothes, load the washing machine, do all of that. I don't know, whatever it is. Genuinely, I don't know what it is. Now, once there is an agreement between you, James and Janet, husband and wife, when one of the mothers comes in and then she's trying to move beyond the boundary of trying to complain that, James, why are you helping your wife to wash plate? James, you need to just say, Mommy, calm down, and explain to Mommy, Mommy, thank you very much for giving birth to me. Thank you very much for being my mother. If you want the peace of this marriage, this is how we have decided. It's not that Janet is pushing me. No. This is how me, your son, that you think they are pushing. No, this is how me and Janet, we have decided to run this home and to be happy. Mommy, if you want the happiness of your son and the happiness of this marriage, Mommy, these are the things that operate in this house. When I'm washing plates for my wife, it is not your headache, Mommy. If you can go and sleep, I can make you a cup of tea, but I need to wash the plates for my wife. This is the way our marriage is. The problem is this: many people are afraid of their parents. Many people are not mature enough. Many people cannot face the truth. A lot of people you call husband, they are babies, they are children, they are childish. They can't even say the truth. They will throw their wife under the bus once their mom shows up. That's where the problem is. Husband and wives must be mature enough to hold on and to stay with their responsibilities and stand with the things that they genuinely believe about their marriage. When the in-laws come, they are not your problem. If there is no hole in your marriage, there is no penetration that they can go through. The Bible says, break the edge, and the serpent comes in and it bites. If the edges are blocked, well prepared, there is cement in the right places and the blocks are well built, I tell you the truth, there is no serpent that is biting. In-laws are not as evil as many people say. They are just different. So you need to let them understand that this is the system at work in this house, and then you can manage your expectations. Be forthcoming, don't be rude. Don't think they are evil. Just understand. Treat it from the position of difference and let them know that this is what you have agreed to do in your family. Unity is important. Don't let your spouse fight for themselves. You will give them a bad name. But if you don't fight, there will come a time that they will become rebellious, and then there will be chaos in that marriage and with those in-laws. I submit there.
Thank you so much, sir. Pastor, we have a lot of questions.
Okay, so we have to move fast.
Yes, sir. What I'm trying to say is, okay, sir, there's a question there that says, since we relocated to United Kingdom 3 years ago, my husband has not been celebrating me. He says, how can I remind him of my birthday every year, because he used to celebrate me back home? That's the question.
My husband celebrates me back home, but now in England, he has changed or he has forgotten. There are two different things.
Forgetting, I'll say.
Now, if someone genuinely,
relocate.
Yes, it might just be the challenges of life. It might just be the challenges of life. Maybe in Nigeria, the guy was normal 9 to 5, and is at home. But now, maybe on your birthday, he has gone to do shift. They have caused problem for him. Then you expect him, he might genuinely forget. Now, you said something. The person was not like that before. I am not trying to pin it to a country. The person was not like that before. then you need to understand with the person what has changed. Why is the person forgetting? That's what we need to analyze. Could it be that the person is generally a forgetful person? Now, I know some of you say, can you forget your wife's birthday? You are right also. But what happens if the person generally forgets things or gets carried away? What happens if the person does not mean any evil? And if the person had been doing it before, what happened? Maybe something has happened to your husband and you are thinking about your birthday. Maybe your husband is stressed, your husband is depressed, your husband is not happy. Maybe your husband is overworking with a few things. So you need to first find a way, not just to remind him on your birthday. It's when it's not your birthday that you talk about it.
So, okay, Pastor, sir, how can couple then be intentional about celebrating each other then? Now that we are here in diaspora.
You are intentional by being intentional. Plan yourself and be intentional. Talk about it, discuss it. But let me tell you something. If it's like things have changed because you have moved from one country to another, because we are talking about diaspora now, what you need to be sincere with yourself. What has changed? So when you know what has changed, then both of you can now plan and be intentional that, you know what, let us not allow this country to make us forget to appreciate ourselves. It's a discussion you have to make together. Let us not allow this country to destroy us. Let us not allow this country to make us stop the good work that we have been doing before. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. There has to be discussion, but you have to be realistic. If there are things that have changed, both of you need to look at those things that have changed. Both of you need to understand the things that change. And then based on those changes, based on all of that, you can now discuss way forward. What I'm saying is be realistic, but talk about it. But it has to be a joint effort. Don't do it when there is a problem. Talk about when there is no problem. If there are things that have changed, you need to witness, you need to, identify those things and then deal with those things. That is the way to help yourself. You have to deal with the things that have changed, and that's how to be deliberate. If not, that's it. Somebody says, help your husband to set a reminder on his phone. Yes, you can begin to do that, but listen to this. That is a fantastic advice. But I want to tell you something. I have seen people that would now be angry that you are monitoring my life. So I think discuss it and find this a good way forward together. Don't impose things on your spouse that is not with their collaboration. It is wrong. You understand? Don't just no. Don't if what happens if he has faith in himself that we forget next year, you have to trust him a bit. You understand? So or she. So that is very important. Yes. So let's move on.
Sir. Thank you. If anybody have any question, please you can send them to me directly, or you can, if you don't want people to know you're the one asking the question, or if you can throw it open, you can raise your hand. Okay, we have one answer. Is that okay, sir? Mr. Taye?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Please go ahead with your question, sir.
It's not a question. Just like supporting the last issue of a wife complaining the husband is not celebrating her.
Okay,
but just to add to a point, I think everything here in Diaspora, I believe that a lot of prayer from a lot of angles. So my advice is that if such a woman can take over all the bill, I think the man should be fine.
We are not talking about bills, sir.
Yeah, it's part of it. It's part of the prayer. That's why somebody can forget the bad day.
Doesn't matter if the woman pay all the bill, the man can still forget.
No. Tolu, try. I'm telling you, that's an advice I can give.
That the woman should take over the bill.
The speaker can testify that if the woman can take over all the bill, I'm sure the next bad day will not be forgiven. Forgetting.
I know you are kidding. Thank you so much.
The man definitely will celebrate the woman in the next bad day. Mark it.
I know you're joking, sir. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank
then.
you for your contribution. Thank you.
No, you know what that my brother is saying, it's just like a joke, it's like a satire, it's like, comedy, but there is a serious sense in what he's saying. Don't look at it from just the bill. What he's trying to say is this: the yoke on a lot of people might be too heavy to bear. And if the yoke on them is too heavy to bear, sometimes if that wife, instead of grumbling, it's ready to understand that this person is carrying load, If the person understand that the person is carrying load, then that's it. So one sister is saying then the man should cook all the meal. You understand? It's still the same thing. Understand that if the partner, the person you're dealing with, is carrying a lot of loads, if they have things that might be troubling them, that's what I said. Be realistic. Why is it that they forget? And be realistic. If the guy is so busy, and be realistic. If it's your wife that is forgetting, and it be realistic. Be realistic with yourself. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Work on the things that you can both make happen together. And I think if you do that, that will be way forward. But that's beautiful, and that's a joke, and it's fantastic. God bless you.
I have another hands up. Go on, Dio, before I read my question. Go on, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Pastor, for this session. My question has to do with okay, it's a scenario I want to create now. If a couple living in the diaspora, and then one of them is, two of them love each other very well, but one would rather go back to his homeland or her homeland, is more attached, or one reason or the other would rather go back, while the other one wants to stay. How do you advise that such a couple navigates such things? Because I'm talking about the fact that they both love themselves, but it's about this look now. What do you advise, sir?
Fantastic. I like your emphasis on the fact that they both love themselves. I like that emphasis because that's where we start answering from. One of the major hallmark of love, genuine love, is sacrifice. One of the major hallmark is sacrifice. Between husband and wife, another major thing, mark of love in a marriage, is collaboration. I will stay with those two. This matter you have presented looks very massive. If we're not lying, there are people who have separated because of it. They love themselves, but you know what? I have to go back to Nigeria. I have to go back to Ghana. Or it might not even going back to home country. It might just be, you want to stay in England, I want to go to Canada. Or you want to stay in the US, I want to go to Australia. It could be that. But we love ourselves, but I feel that place is better for me. You think this place is better for you. I want to give you those two things. Based on your question that they love themselves, I want to put in those two factors. If you love someone, there must be sacrifice in your heart. You cannot genuinely call it love. If you call it love, then there must be a space for sacrifice, number one. Number two, if you call it love, there must be a space for working together in collaboration. I want to mention those two. Now, if they genuinely love themselves, there is nothing wrong in desiring two different things. There's nothing wrong because we're humans. Somebody might just say, all this stress in this country is too much. I would prefer to be here. The person say, no, I'm not going, or you will go alone. No, it doesn't mean they don't love themselves. But then if they love themselves, they will sit down together and do proper analysis. That is where collaboration comes in. A proper, genuine analysis. Where is my sacrifice coming in? The analysis, the collaboration can only be genuine if both parties are ready for sacrifice. Because it's very important. And they must be they must be ready for sacrifice genuinely without wishing to take advantage of the other person or to prove superiority to the other person or compete with the other person's opinion. So now I want to go back to Nigeria. You want to stay in England, but I love you. Now, because we love, let's look at the matter genuinely with love, with a preparation for sacrifice. And I tell people this all the time. It could be that the person that wants to go back to Nigeria is the best option for both of them. So if they love themselves, if they put the matter on the table and they're ready to collaborate genuinely with sacrifice, it might mean that the wife will need to sacrifice or the husband will need to sacrifice so that they can move towards a direction. And that is very important. With love, there has to be those two things to resolve this matter. There are many other things, but I think these two very key. There must be collaboration and there must be sacrifice. If you're ready to collaborate sincerely with the readiness to sacrifice, I'm telling you the truth, it's not difficult. Now, when I say collaboration, it requires humility. When I say sacrifice, it requires humility. Both of them has to first kill self. Self is one of the major reasons why we have problems. No matter if you love and you are not selfless, your love has another question mark on it. That's the truth. So, like you said, my brother, if they genuinely love themselves, and then they have these different opinions about something major, they should sit down together, collaborate, visit the matter sincerely with selflessness and be ready to sacrifice. God will give them away. If both of them will remove self from the equation and their love come to play with collaboration and sacrifice, they will find a way. I don't know which way they will find, but they will find a way. But those things must be resolved. If not, it will turn to a fight or it will turn to a competition, and it can lead to any other thing. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. This is a money question, sir. It says, I'll match the two together. One is asking for advice on if they have dual income, mostly needed to run homes and all that. But this one too is a money question. It's another one. So kindly, just talk to us about it. Answer the two questions. I'll put them together. One says, how can we deal with money issue when we have dual income, mostly needed to run home in the diaspora? Then the second question says, my husband always asks me to put 1,000 pounds in his own account to cover the bills. That is my own monthly contribution to the house. When I ask friends at workplace, they told me I am a fool. I should have a bill to my name. Pastor, as I said, it's a sensitive money issue.
It's not even sensitive. Don't worry yourself. There's nothing sensitive there. There's nothing sensitive there. Let's start from the last position. Let's build it up. Number one thing, friends are involved. Now, let me say this. Whether right or wrong, don't build your life on the opinion of friends. Because a friend that is telling you, I can never take that from my husband, might be lying to you. That person might be submitting the entire life to the husband and now telling you, I cannot. So, is whether right or wrong, be careful when people give you advices to emancipate you, to free you as if you are in bondage. When people give you, when people give you advices that it wants to free you as if your life is tight, you are in bondage, something is wrong with you, you are suffering. One man wants to subdue you, somebody wants to do it. You need to be careful when people give you such advice. Number one, you don't know their heart, you don't know what they're going through. That's not the best place for advice most times. I pray you will have friends that will be genuine, that will be reasonable, that will be truthful with whatever advice they are giving you. So I've said it's not about right or wrong. We come back to the matter. So this person says we have dual income. The meaning, what I believe dual income is that both of us are working. Am I right? That's what the meaning is. So yes, both of us are working. Basically, that's what it is. In other words, I have my money, he has his own money, both of us are working. Okay. So both of us are working. And then this person wants me to put 1,000 in his own account. Every month. Question. That is very abstract because number one, we don't know how much you are earning. Number two, we don't know what the husband is spending. We don't know the total expenditure of the family. So this thing now, we will cause trouble if we try to analyze, because if sales 1,000 sounds big, but what happens if your mortgage alone is 2,005? And then you pay house bills and you do this and everything, maybe adds up together to 3,005. And your husband says, bring 1,000. Are you following what I'm saying? Then we cannot judge. It doesn't make a lot of sense to us, because what is 1,000? What is the total money? How much is he spending? Is it that is your 1,000 that solve all the problem? Then there is problem. If it's your 1,000,
sorry, sir. I'm so sorry to cut you short, sir. I think the issue is she's saying that when I spoke to friends in quoting at workplace, they said I'm a fool as I do not have a bill attached to my name.
Fantastic. Now, so we have saw the friend now. We have said 1,000, we don't know about it. So 1, 2, 3. Let's do this now. Now, listen carefully to this. Except for some specific reasons, for whatever reasons that might be beyond what we are discussing today. Generally speaking, husband and wives, the bills should be in your names together. Generally speaking. Generally speaking. Because if let's go back to our James and Janet. James Omobolanle and Janet Omobolanle. Now, if both of you, if both names are on the bill, especially utility bills and things like that, then any one of you can use it. So we must know what the husband is trying to do by not putting the wife's name on the bills. Because I don't want to push it, because that is something that we can push to a level that can even become an abuse and manipulation. Because if you are collecting 1,000 from someone, I'm not following the friends now. I'm saying my own independently. I've told you, be careful of friends. If you're giving 1,000 as part of the bills and your name does not show in any of the bills, then you and your husband need some serious counseling, because we need to know why your husband is doing it. Could it be that the wife's name cannot go because of status, immigration status? We don't know that. Could it be that your husband has genuine reason for both of you to do it? We don't know. So what we need to understand is, number one, why is the name not on it? So these are, a lot of people need personal counseling, marital counseling. I'm telling you the truth. The question is, why is your name not on it? Because I can't just sit down here and say your husband is doing something wrong. I don't have background information. Do you understand? So the things that we need to know is, why is your name not on it? If your name is not on it because your husband just say you don't need to have your name on it, just bring 1,000, that's manipulation. That's wrong. But if between you and your husband, you know a just reason why your name is not on it, then don't listen to the friends. It's very, very important. So that's what we need to know. But generally speaking, husband and wives, listen, the names should be on it. Both names should be on it. Both names should be on it. This is England. Your husband needs to do something. Wife needs to do something. You might want to feel something. Both of you will need utility bill. Your wife, you need utility bill. At the end of the day, both of you are human beings.
So, Pastor, can I quickly tie this question to another question that says...
Yes, it's fine, yes.
Transparency when it comes to income. Should the husband know what the wife is earning, and should the wife know what, as in, put it on the table, sir?
Easy or difficult answer? Let's do both. The straightforward answer, which many people might not like, is this. If you have a wife that you need to keep your income secret, or your husband, your income needs to be secret income, then your marriage has problem. Full stop. However you interpret it, whether it's big problem or small problem, whether you say the problem is significant, it's insignificant, it's a serious problem, it's not a serious problem, all that one is story. Listen to this. I have done marital counseling enough. Even before I got married, I've been doing this thing. Listen to this. I've done it enough to tell you that every time husband or wife keep their income secret, they have problem in their marriage. It's as simple as ABC. There's no other way to look at it. So those people, they have problem in their marriage. They need marital counseling. The problem, they might not consider it as big, but it's a problem. Let me give an example. For instance, that's how you grew up. Your mom can never allow your dad to know it, or you grew up in a way that your dad finished all your mom's money. Then you have developed that, hey, I will not let any man knows what I'm earning. I don't want this man to come and do like, you have problem in that marriage. Because you see, you are transferring the weakness of your father to your husband. And if your husband is like that, you have problem, because your husband has problem. You understand? So anyhow you look at it, whether you are transferring it, you are importing it, or you are exporting it, however it's coming from, any time that there is secrecy in income in a marriage, you have an underlying problem. You see, the secrecy of your income is a manifestation of underlying problem. There is something wrong with your trust. There is something wrong with even your understanding of marriage. There is something wrong with so many things. It's so serious. So what I tell people is this. We're not blaming you. We're not complaining about you. But what we're saying is, we need to just know why it's like that. Somebody is saying communication issues. It could be. But for people who do this, it's not even communication. It's deliberate that they don't want to talk about it. It's deliberate secrecy. It's an hidden thing. listen to this. There is issue there. Like somebody said, trust is a major problem here. But what has caused it? It might not even be your spouse that caused it. It might be your parents. It might be what you have learned, what you have read. Some people will tell you if your spouse know what you are doing. If this, all those are just evil things that puts people in trouble. People like this have problem. They might accept it, they might not accept it, but it's problem in their marriage. Why are you not transparent? Why are you not trusting? Why don't you even believe in a man that you said, yes, I do too? Why would you go to an altar and marry somebody with your life and then ordinary money they cannot know? There is serious problem in that marriage, whether accepted or not. But what I'm saying is this: it doesn't necessarily mean that both of you are evil people. It just means that there are issues in that marriage that you need to resolve and sort out. So we cannot leave that, that foundational issue and begin to talk about the security money. Once the foundational issue is resolved, I guarantee you the money issue is not a big deal. You understand?
I have another hand up.
No problem.
MOB, please go on, ask your question, because I have one question here to ask after that. Please go on, sir.
Okay, good evening, sir. Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening.
God bless you.
You know, like the last question, that's what I want to comment on. For me, it's not a coincidence that organizations do reviews from time to time. I see that where couples don't take time out to do reviews from time to time, it creates issues like this. My wife must not know how much I'm earning. You know, I used to work in the oil industry in Nigeria. And in some organizations, there are some clauses, silent clauses, but very dangerous, that those clauses, they destroy homes. Some clauses in those documents believe if your wife should know what will come to her if anything happens to you. So because of that, you don't have to sign that form at home. They believe your wife can kill you.
I understand.
Yes, because so I tell couple, you need to, like for instance, I'm going to use my family as a case study. The way we do our own reviews quarterly, we want to see how we are progressing every quarter. And I noticed that over time, he has been able to cement the trust issues for us. Our foundation is stronger because we do quarterly reviews. In this area, I didn't do too well. Then we need to be brutally honest with us. I don't know why, my name will not be on a bill and I'm contributing. So those are, and I love the answers you give. I was just clapping when we were giving those answers, sir, because we need to understand why, the why factor. The wife. So my contribution tonight is we need to take time out and be intentional, not just having great intention. There's a difference between having intention and being intentional. As couple, we need to intentionally do our quarterly reviews, monthly reviews, how we are doing in this area of finance. Like some couples, sir, like you said, maybe one of the parties grew up with this mindset from where I came from. I'm from Nigeria. That means if it is, once there's money is on the table, it will solve the problem. But the other party grew up in an environment where what does not belong to me, I don't have right over it. There will be clash of interest, values. Like we are 6 in my family and we have 6 core values. So we have accountability manager for each of those core values. And we rotate those values from time to time. So that this boy can say, one of my boy can say, okay, I'm the one in charge of trust this month or this quarter. If anybody violates that, we know that, okay, we have an accountability manager managing that. So we advise couples tonight that we shouldn't allow, no, I don't want him to know what will come up to me. Because when issues come on board, when there are issues, when a man makes a stupid decision, I'm a guy, that's what I'm talking from the man's perspective. It does not affect only him. It affects the whole family. So the more reason why we should get it right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for your contribution. So please, let me quickly ask this question. Someone says, I love makeup and perfume back home in Nigeria. And as soon as we relocated, my husband banned me. She used the one banned me from wearing makeup and perfume. Please advise her, as this is causing depression.
If not using makeup and perfume causes depression for you, your husband.
Joy, sir.
No. If Not wearing makeup and perfume causes depression for you. It is good that your husband stopped it so that you can be delivered from your commitment and slavery to makeup and perfume. So let me sort that out, because it shouldn't lead to that. I don't know how your life, maybe your husband is being used to help you. Why makeup and perfume is something, if they withdraw from you, then you have depression. That one, you need to, even you yourself, you choose that, let me wean myself off this makeup and perfume, and then know that I have resilience against it so that it will not cause depression. So that's on one side, So let's go back up. So your husband stops you from using makeup and perfume, which he didn't do in Nigeria. As you just said it, the first thing that came to my mind is poverty. He's just managing finance. If he has been allowing you before, like I've been saying, and the last person said now, somebody said maybe it makes you look weird. Maybe you make up like Ninja Warrior. So it's a serious matter. Why it's so important? Why? But because, like somebody said before, communication issues. I think you need to know why your husband is doing this. Number one, let me just say this. This is very serious. For someone to say, my husband banned me, that is already too strong. Your husband shouldn't have that kind of power over your life. He banned you. It's that I can sense a lot of problem in that marriage. I can sense a problem. I don't want to say things, but I can sense problem already in that marriage. For you to use the word "he banned me" and then it's causing depression, there is problem in that marriage. Let it not be that your husband is a serious misogynist. Let it not be that your husband is someone who wants to manipulate your life. Let it not be that your husband is the one that only wants you to look the way he wants you to look and not the way you want to look. Let it not be that. Let it not be. Let it not be. Let it not be. Let it not be that it's your husband that is dictating how your life will be. Now, that's not to say that you and your husband cannot work together to determine what he likes. Because if you love your husband, could it be that the time you've been doing it was in rebellion? Could it be that there's something to talk about, like the last person also spoke? Do you need to review this? Do you need to talk about this? These are serious matters. But to use the word, my husband banned me, that is too strong. What kind of relationship do you have that your husband bans you? Is it God? You understand? Is it God? Is he a terrorist? Is he going to kill you if you do it? It's too strong. My husband banned me. I just imagine my wife talking to someone and saying, my husband has banned me from banned. Maybe you are using the word carelessly, but if you meant it, then it's a serious matter. So it's not the makeup that is making you feel depressed. It's the accumulation of all of those effects. That is the banning, the way your family operates, the oppressive nature of having to ban you from doing something, and then you have no choice, but you must obey the Lord and the master of the marriage. There's no way you won't have depression. So the problem is not the perfume. The problem is not the makeup. The problem is that there is a system, there is an atmosphere, there is a structure in your family that is very poisonous, where husband can ban the wife, and the wife submit like a slave, and then enter into the corner filled with depression and filled with all of that. No, it doesn't make sense. That's why I say a lot of people need help. Now, what you need to do is it for yourself. Let perfume and makeup not cause you depression. Please, let it not cause you depression. But at the same time, calm down and work with your husband. Thank you. Let's move on.
Sorry, sir. Can you give us maybe 10 minutes more, if you don't mind, of your time, sir?
Me? I can give you 10 hours more now.
Thank you so much. Adegunwa, can you please go ahead and unmute yourself? Can you make it as brief as possible? I still have other questions. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, this is not a question. It's just a contribution. And I'm talking from the immigration point of view. Like the pastor already said, there's manipulation. And where there's manipulation, you cannot do anything. And I am, like I said, I'm talking from the immigration point of view. Some people from back home, when they were coming, the husband is the one doing everything. When you get abroad, it's a different ball game. Pastor has said it already. It's a different ball. You look at what is available and go by it. You don't say, okay, because sorry, I've got granules in my mouth. So you don't say because it's the one doing everything back home, I have to do it now. I can't contribute. You have to contribute. This is a country where both of you have to contribute. And, you know, the one that said the husband does not, both of you have to contribute. Yes, there's one more thing I wanted to say. You see, we are all different. We all came from different backgrounds. This is the way I always put it. Some people, they are the firstborn in their family, they carry the load. Some people, I've known firstborn marrying lastborn, and I've known the middle. But the thing is, every family is different. Sometimes it's the lastborn that will carry everything, but it depends on how. And to be honest with you, sorry for I'm saying this, the hosts, I like the host's family. And the way they are in their family is the way we are in my family. You do everything together. And to be honest with you, our spouses always, they're always envy of us, because the thing is, we do things together. You don't say because this is from this person, but anyway, because there's no time. So what I'm just trying to say is, forget about what you have in back home. You work with what is available here.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very much for your contribution. Pastor, I have a pressing question that says, my question is, how will you deal with a situation where your husband keeps threatening you to send you back home each time you have issues, maybe misunderstanding, because you are dependent on his visa? Anytime they have misunderstanding, you say, I'll send you back home.
Let me tell you something. I can answer this purely as a pastor. I can also answer this as being protective of a weaker person. I can do both. But let me start this. If your husband threatens you with things like that, you need to be serious about it. It's manipulation, it's control. Because you are dependent on someone's visa does not mean you should be a slave. You married the person. For what do you mean by dependent? You are married. We're a couple. We came to this country together. We decided to come. I'm depending on you. You are saying you will show me. It's a manipulation. Let me tell you something. Let me just submit this to you. Many things that a lot of our men do in this country that they get away with, it's because a lot of women are very nice. Let me just say that. It's because many women that they're complaining women are bad. It's because they are nice. Immediately, that woman just need to tell the police that you are threatening her. You are threatening her that you will send her back home with everything. That's all. That's all. All this one that people are saying, threatening. Let me tell you something. Don't let me be angry with this thing. If I deal with that case, that husband will regret it, because I will be the one that will. What do you mean? You'll be threatening somebody to send the person home, threatening me to go home. This is England. I will tell the police you are threatening me to go home. Once I report the case and they know you are threatening me, you are in trouble. And the case will be on your head. If you now say you don't want to marry me, I will get paper in UK. Do you not understand? I will get. Why do you threaten people? Are you God? It's wrong. And that's why sometimes to be as if some people are teaching women bad things. What is the bad things there? So I'm dependent on your visa. And it's the other way too. Don't get me wrong. It's the other way. If it's because of you, your husband came to this country, he's dependent on you, you'll be threatening your husband. If you don't know, I will walk away. You can't be threatening somebody. Do you know what it means to threaten someone? You can't be doing that. It's wrong. It's very wrong. And why a lot of people get away with it is because we have a culture that we don't want to cause trouble for ourselves. We don't want police to be involved. We don't want social service to be involved in our case. We don't want this. We don't want that. We don't want that. That's why people are perpetrating evil. It's evil. You have no right to threaten someone because the person is your dependent and came to UK because of you. Did you not marry the person? And if it was fake marriage you did to come, it's your lot. It's your lot. That's your problem. It's a wrong thing. There are words we don't use. It's like when we're talking about banned me because of my husband, I now have depression, and then he's threatening me that will take me back home. Threatening you for what? If you want to be threatened, you want to be threatened. I'm telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. You just want to be threatened. You can choose not to be threatened. What kind of rubbish is that? But I pray anyway. But also, it's your husband. You are the one that chose to marry him. So I pray God will give you strength.
Amen.
So we leave it like that. It's a wrong thing. It's a wrong thing. But let me just say this to balance it. You need to ask yourself, what are you doing wrong? Because you might be the one pushing your husband to the level that he has lost himself. and is now saying things that it's not supposed to say. So two, also, it takes two to tango. So you also need to be sincere. What am I doing? Which button are you pressing under the bed? What are you pressing? What are you doing to him that is saying he will send you back? So that's very important. That is very important. That is very important. Yes, that's very important. Somebody asked something, Statuli. Let me just say well, so that it will not be as if we just neglected what the person is saying. The person is saying, what happens if your wife is always taking shift, and then because they are taking shift back to back, then there is no sex again. I want to say is the things we have talked about. Discuss it. You are in the marriage, both of you are there together. Why is your wife taking shift? So if you are putting a lot of financial demand on your wife that she has to fulfill, then she has to take shift. And if she's taking shift back to back, then there's no back to put on the bed. So you are in trouble. So if both of you need to discuss it, you need to understand it, you need to know why it is happening. Don't just throw arrows against yourself. Understand why things are happening and talk, discuss. Communication issues and all of that is very, very, very important. Somebody as Adetokunbo is saying, thank you, Pastor. I do pro bono on issues like this. Threatening is a serious domestic offense. I've told you already. That's someone who is thinking like me, because all this kind of rubbish, I don't like it. Why would you threaten your wife? Listen to this woman. No man has every right to threaten you of any form. It's wrong. It's wrong. These are things people need to learn. Listen to this, man. I'm not against you. I'm also a man. If I'm against you, I'm against myself. Let's learn the truth. Don't be oppressive. Don't be oppressive. Don't everything that is wrong can't possibly be your wife. And women, everything that is wrong can't possibly be your husband. Like my brother said, take reviews, discuss this thing, check your guidelines, check all of those things and work together as one. But please listen to this. There are things that are not proper. Banning, threatening, pushing someone to depression because you are commanding them not to do things. All of those things, commanding somebody to bring money and put in your own account whilst the person's name is not on the bill. All of those things are manipulative. They're wrong. If you have been doing it in Nigeria, stop it. Because that's why people now be blaming the diaspora. Diaspora is not your problem. Those are wrong things. It's because you get away with it from Ghana. You get away with it in Nigeria. You now come to UK. You say UK is destroying your marriage. No, you are destroying your own marriage. Those are bad things that you were getting away with in a bad country. Because you get away with bad things in a bad country, doesn't mean when you get to a good country, you get away with bad things. So that's what happens. So to go back to our diaspora thing, why a lot of people have problem in this country is that they have bad ideas, bad principles, bad marriage principles, bad implementations, and all of that. Then when we get to a different environment, that thing will be revealed. And when their spouse now wakes up and like, wait a minute, it's not supposed to be like that, then they will say it's rebellion. It's not rebellion. If the evil that you have been doing in your own country, if you had stopped, if the person had stopped those evil, then you will not generate rebellion that your husband is bringing forth or your wife is bringing forth. So let's talk. Let's be sincere with ourselves. Don't point accusing fingers. Take responsibility and do what is right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Go on, Mr. Lamosin. Very brief.
Okay. Thank you, Pastor Adegunwa. I will really enjoy the night and with all the good advices you gave. Back to the woman that was banned from using perfume and makeup. I think there must be an issue. If the husband find out that the woman is just spending, the whole of her morning on perfume and makeup, I think that although it's not justified, it's a very hard decision to make. But honestly, I think there must be more to it. What I would just advise the person to do, the woman, is to take Pastor Adegunwa's number. I think the person needs to go for deliverance.
Thank you, sir. Pastor,
just wait a minute. What I would say, in line with what my brother is saying, there about this is this: you need to be sincere with yourself. What we're saying is there might be reasons why the husband is saying it. You need to explore it. But what we're also saying is the word banned is too strong. It should be, if there's communication, it should be a discussion, a communication. But it might be true that there is problem. We don't know the kind of perfume you are using. We don't know the kind of, if you are using expensive perfume, you are buying Tom Ford, you are buying makeup that is 150 pounds, you are buying, and by the end of the month, you are spending maybe like 350 pounds or 400 pounds on perfume and the other one, and your husband genuinely thinks it's too much. Now, listen to this. If you are refusing him and wants to put his foot down in a way that is wrong, that will become a banning. You understand? So banning is wrong, but then what you are doing also misunderstanding. But I pray that your husband will know how to present it to you that cockroach or love or whatever your husband calls you, you need to change. This is not fair. This is not good. You're wasting money. We're in Nigeria, we were fine, but now we are trying to gather ourselves. Don't spend all the money on perfume. You understand? So you don't just throw things out. Let's reason together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I know you have answered this question. Somebody was asking, how do you manage women giving attention? Who gives attention to your husband back home, 100% attention, and getting to UK? You said something like that.
I'll deal with that. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, sir. There's a question here. Somebody wants to know, how do I stop my wife from buying clothing for the children too much? Managing.
Well, it sounds like a simple issue, but it can be very big. There are many reasons people buy things. Sometimes it's just impulsive buying, which is a problem. Sometimes people who have poverty mindset, sometimes they buy a lot because once they see money, they just think money needs to be spent. So it can be the mindset is wrong. Sometimes it's because of deprivation. Maybe the person in Nigeria before can never buy anything good. Now they have a few coins. They discover that you can buy one, get 10 free. So impulsive poverty mindset, survival mindset, deprivation in their past will make them buy. Now, there are many reasons. Some people are just too wasteful and so on and so forth. Now, we use a lot of strong words. So the person say, how can I stop my wife? Now, it's not about stopping your wife. Your wife is not a car that you press a brake. You understand? There has to be discussion. We are back to these communication issues. We are back to this sincerity. We are back to understanding why somebody does it. It might be the person has been deprived from when they were young. They couldn't buy anything. It could be that before they didn't have money of their own. Now they have money of their own. It could be that before both of you were poor. But now you are wealthy. Money is everywhere. And the person thinks the only thing you do with money is to buy cloth and waste it. So you need to know where the person is coming from. Some people are coming from poverty, deprivation. Some people are just coming from a background where even when they were young, their parents just buy them things. So you need to understand the journey of your spouse. What has brought them to the position where they now spend wrongly? That is assuming that they are buying too much. Because we also need to define that. Because it could be that the man is stingy. He doesn't want the children to wear clothes. That's why he's saying it. So let's assume you are right. Let's assume your wife is buying too much. Based on that assumption only, then you can explore what brought her to that level. And once you find out what brought her to that level, you are in a better position to help somebody. Not just dismissing or fighting them for the wrong they do, but trying to help them analyze or find why they do it. Because if we can discuss and collaborate and find the why for the behavior that is wrong, then we might be able to move forward better. So it will not just be as a banning or a stopping and things like that. It will be like an advice or a discussion or a collaboration for the best way forward for both of us. Not that I am trying to impose myself or try to oppress you, but that I'm trying to genuinely let you know that, wait a minute, you can't continue like this. It is not healthy.
Thank you, sir. Before I bring Adegunwa, there is two questions here. We just take few and we'll stop. What about a woman that drops her whole salary on the table while the man was not working, but as soon as he starts working, he still expects the woman to pay all bills? What can she do, or how does she manage this?
They need serious counseling. If I take it on the face of it, I will say he's a wicked man. On the face of it. Because the way it sounds is, when he was not working, I was doing all the work, give him all the money. Now he's working, I still give the guy all the money, but I'm not spending part of his money. If that is exactly what it is, the man is wicked. But also, we might want to now explore why is he doing it. But this one, there is not a lot of why inside. We first need to settle there is a wrong thing. If it is as she has said, so it is wrong. It is wrong. And I hope and I pray that that man has somebody that can talk to both of them. that man has someone that can talk to both of them to explore it together and see what his fears are, what his fears are, what are the things that might be troubling him and why he's doing it, and so on and so forth. An external person that can help to analyze and sort these things out for them if possible. But I think fundamentally, I just pray that the wife should calm down and try to see why the husband is doing like that. But on the face of it, I think it's wrong. But they might need, peculiar, advice to see and to explore why these things are happening so that they can be helped. But bottom line, it's a wrong thing that needs to be treated.
Thank you, sir. Two last questions. Go on, Adegunwa.
Sorry, it's a contribution again. Pastor has said everything, to be honest with you. Pastor has said everything. One, you have to come, because this is a new environment. You couple have to come together, talk together. Maybe, I've just heard one today, like the quarterly review, yearly review. I've just heard it for the first time, and I think it's a very good idea. As couples, you need to do that. And just review, look at this is what we need to do, this is what we don't need to do anymore. Then with children, buying things for children, what I always say is we want our children to grow, isn't it? So you buy things to me, I think a age higher than their age, you buy, but buy it, I always say buy in Tesco, Sainsbury's, Asda, all those places, not other things that are fancy, except you've been expecting for a very long time and this is the first time you're having your child. That is okay. But if the children are just 3 children, 4 children, the children are fast growing, we pray for them to grow, so they grow. So instead of buying fanciful things of 50 pounds, 30 pounds, buy things from Tesco, Asda, that they will use for and in this country it doesn't fade away easily. Then another thing I want to say is I go to parties a lot in this country. And what I do is I buy my own material. The only thing I do is buy, the headgear, the gele. Well, it's true. The Ashwebi gele, but my own material is what I will get. And I'll be then I can use that material for 3, 4, 5 occasions. People will not know, because when I take pictures, I intentionally take pictures at parties, and when I take those pictures, I look at when I'm going to wear these materials again, I'll look at the headgear I use, the chain I use, everything I use is going to be different when I'm using it for another party. No, it's true, because
I understand.
You see, because when people,
thank you.
When people see it, they say, aṣọ ẹjọ aṣọ ta ó tún fine ju aṣọ ẹbí táwọn mú lọ. Yes. So if people can cultivate that habit, it's not every aṣọ ẹbí you have to take. And we're not in Nigeria, for crying out loud. We are building 2 homes. We are building a home here and a home back home. So we have to be wise when doing things. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you. Last question, Pastor. Last thing. Thank you for your time. This one is, it says, what advice do you give if your wife does not listen to you, but go out and take the same advice from either your friend or someone else outside, but you say the same thing, she will not do it, but she'll listen to others?
Oh, well, there are so many things here we can say, but we can analyze this in the time that we've got, but I will say just 1 or 2 principles that could help, But before I go to that, let me just say something about the review things. Now, some of us might not be so methodical to do reviews 3 months or 6 months, but it's so important, do it your own way. In fact, you might even do your own weekly. I'm telling you, you might even do your own weekly. You might not do a structured one. But it's important to discuss What are we doing? You understand? In our own family, we don't do methodical 3 months, whatever, like that. Thank God for those who can do it like that. But it's important. Find a way to do it. Just talk from time to time. Find out where we are doing, where we are with your children as they're getting older. They understand with your spouse. It's so important. You will learn so many things. So don't say I'm saying this review again, but it's so important. Don't wait for problem to happen. You understand? So that's very important. Now, your wife does not listen to you and listen to other people. It sounds so familiar to me because I hear things like that. There are many things I will say here, but number one, let me say this. It's painful that in a lot of marriages, husbands are not respected by their wives. And the first thing you want to do is to blame the wife. What I'm trying to say is, in a lot of families, husbands might have presented themselves in a way that their wives disregard and disrespect them. That's not whether it's right or wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm just telling you what happens. Because it's a classic case of disregard or disrespect if genuinely you have said one thing exactly and then your wife goes ahead to listen to something else. Exactly, the same thing from somebody and then carried out. I think if I'm a man, I will sit down and ask myself, what am I doing wrong? Now listen to this. You shouldn't start with your wife. You should stand yourself. How have you brought yourself so low? What have you so done to yourself? It's a serious thing. How have you brought yourself to that level that you say to your wife, go to London, she won't go, and then some other people, whoever, I don't mind whether whoever, friend, family, I don't know, and then now tells them go to London, then they would go and listen to them. That means they respect those people more than they respect you. That's it. I don't know whether this is going to get the person angrier, but that's the truth. That means they value this opinion more than your own. The question you need to ask yourself, why are your opinions not valued? Because we're quick to attack the other person and say they are bad people, they don't listen to me. Now, in as much as that's okay for you to consider, but I want to advise, also consider why your opinions are so worthless. I always tell people this: if somebody looks at you and say your head is big, be angry with them for abusing you, but get a mirror and check your head out, because they might just have told you the truth. And then, do yourself, some good by doing what you need to do. You understand what I mean? So I want you to see it both ways, because if you only see it from the side of your wife doing something wrong by listening to others instead of listening to you, you might not be able to control or handle the situation. Because if you cannot control or handle yourself and make corrections, you will never be able to change the outcome. Start with yourself. Why is she like that? That's not to say blame yourself. That's not to say pull yourself down. I'm just saying be realistic with yourself. Because listen, if that is true exactly the way you said it, that shows that your wife values the opinion of other people more than your opinion, and she respects other people more than she respects you. And let me just say this: it doesn't mean she doesn't love you, she just doesn't respect you. Now, that's funny, but sometimes in marriage it might be different, because a lot of women will only respect those who earn it. I'm not saying that's how it's supposed to be. As a pastor, you need to respect your husband and do also to the Lord, and vice versa. The husband needs to do the same also to the wife. It's not a one-way thing. But what I'm trying to say is this: if it's like that, then you need to ask yourself question, what can I do to make a change, whilst you are also praying or trusting and trying to see what you can do to help your spouse also do what is right. So it has to be two, and you have to start with yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Abby, last contribution, but please, Pastor, get ready to tell us about Great Truth and Liberty podcast after this contribution, sir. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. So I just want to say something about all this money issue, because this is something that I haven't heard anyone say. It's the issue that you can actually have a joint account, so everybody can have their own account. Open a middle account, decide how much is your bills, your expenses for the month, and let everybody contribute to the middle account, because that is what we do, and it works for us. Even though my husband earns more than me, and I purposely, he has to anyway, he carries majority of the bill, but I still make my own contribution, and it makes me feel worthwhile that I am contributing something to the home. And I have some little bills that I manage on my own. He has the major ones that he manages, but we operate a joint account, which is a middle account. So to a certain extent, your money is my money is my money, but his money is also my money anyway. But middle money is there for us to. So I think for everybody or for whoever is struggling, you may have to consider having a joint account, put some money in there, both of you, and let all the bills be paid from there. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
Thank you, Pastor, for your time. Kindly tell us a little bit about Grace, Truth, and Liberty podcast. Where can we, listen to it?
All right. Okay. That's just the background I've decided to choose to use today. That's all it is. But of course, I have it's a podcast. So, if anybody, I think you can find it on any podcast player, Grace, Truth, and Liberty. And if you just like to hear my voice sounds outside of Zoom, then you might want to listen to that, and that would be fantastic. So it's just my messages and, some things. And I think I might have some question and answers on marriage there also, that you might want to listen to. So yeah, so that's just my podcast if you want to listen to that. Or generally, if you Google my name, you can listen to anything I say, maybe on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or the podcast, which, that's the background I've got today, which if you subscribe to podcast, many of us who know about podcast is that you can listen to it anytime without having to pay or subscribe to anything, and you can play it on the ground, when you can do other things with your phone. That's what I mean when you listen to podcast. So yeah, that's it. It's my podcast, Grace, Truth, and Liberty, and yeah, that's it. It's on any podcast.
Sorry, sir. Can I quickly ask about, I know you have a network called Zenith. Is it mainly for pressing people? Can anybody who's interested in you mentoring them join Zenith, sir? Can you tell us a little bit about Zenith Network?
Mentoring people and joining Zenith Network is not particularly the same. So if someone wants to ask about any mentoring or just counseling, one-off counseling or continuous mentoring or life coaching, they can send me an email, lekan@hotmail.com. And if it's based on individual response, I will give more details on all of those things. So any inquiry should just be sent to me by email, Adegunwa@hotmail.com, and then I can give more details. The person should tell me what they want to know, whether it's just mentoring, coaching, or just to want to have a chat or whatever it is, and then I can have a chat with the person, know exactly what they're interested in, and then I can say more about that. Yeah. So that's what the person should. If anybody is interested in mentoring, coaching, life coaching, or the Zenith Network, that's what they can do. They can just send me an email, inquiries, lekan@hotmail.com, and just, say what they would like with their number, obviously, so that I might want to reply to the email or, use the number, WhatsApp or anything. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Personally, I want to say a very big thank you to you and to everyone on this Zoom platform tonight. Thank you. If you are in Preston, if you live locally, you're welcome to join our church. That's my church. That's my pastor. That's where we attend. It's called the TRM Church, the Reconciliation Ministry Church, TRM Church. It's in out of Preston. Just Google it, TRM Church. It comes up. We have fantastic children section. That is awesome for families. A family church, you can bring your children of any age. The professional teachers who's going to be teaching them. Please take a look check us out, TRM on Google. Thank you so much, Pastor Lekan, for joining us tonight. Thank you for your time. Sincerely appreciate you, sir. Please, everyone, you can unmute yourself and say a very big thank you. Thank you so much to Pastor Lekan. Thank you, everyone, for your
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pastor. God bless you.
Thank you,
Very
Pastor.
good in Jesus' name.
Very enlightening session.
Thank you,
sir.
Pastor Lekan.